Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Division Z podcast. My name is Jason.
And I am K Cosmic.
Today, some stuff happened in the Call of Duty community.
Some stuff happened.
Some stuff.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. But you know what? There's one major thing that happened, and that's the new Warzone map. Yeah, more than one.
I haven't played.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
You know, Vanguard Zombies, not a lot of content in Season 1. Multiplayer, haven't really gotten around to playing the new maps. One of them is supposed to be a remake. And then, yeah, Caldera, fun Warzone map. I really enjoy it. I know you haven't played it yet. We're going to stream it later in the week.
Mm-hmm. I've heard it's good. I've heard that as far as the maps go, it's better than Verdansk. 100%. It's better.
I would say
the colors
so.
are a lot more vibrant.
Yeah.
And I've seen the plane fights. They look quite fun. I don't know how they actually perform in the game.
They're so hard to control. They're so hard to control, man.
Is it like trying to control something like a Wii or something? Like, you know, like awkward controls. And
maybe not that bad, but I find myself like when I want to turn the plane, it's like a super wide turn radius.
Oh, it's not like sharp.
It's not super sharp, which I guess would make kind of sense. Maybe from an aviation standpoint. I don't know. Anyone who builds planes, let us know in the comments.
Maybe it's to balance it a little, make it so like, okay, you can't just like
maybe.
But
see, maybe it's because I'm spoiled, and you know, I when I play Star Wars Battlefront 2, the space combat in that with the spaceships are sharp, good, and I like that. But anyways, yeah, so the planes on Caldera, they're not terrible. Like, they do a pretty good amount of damage, but you know, they're kind of hard to control. The map is pretty fun. Funny enough, in Caldera, there is a Nocturne Toten replica.
I've seen that.
Yes.
So Warzone is getting more zombies content than Vanguard zombies. I see.
I don't know.
I don't know. Listen, I'm sure Treyarch is hard at work trying to get that pause button to work. I'm sure they're really like, bumping their heads together. How do we get this function that's been in every other game to work?
I genuinely do feel like a broken record when we talk about this. I still can't believe we can't pause the game, and like. It's going to be added in the middle of Season 1. Like, I don't get it. The whole dedicated... We talked about the whole dedicated servers thing on a previous episode and why it's terrible and why that should never have been a thing. But, like...
Because I can understand it for co-op.
Or public matches.
Public matches,
at least, you know. Even private matches, when you're playing with your friends, you should be able to have host pause or server pause or whatever.
What I don't understand is why on solo... Why? It makes no sense. It's
something went wrong.
Again, I feel like maybe we're perhaps kind of broken records on it, but it's just because it's the truth, and we're not gonna lie. Because we're not gonna be like, oh, there's no pausing. Well, you know, they'll add it later, so it's gonna be absolutely fine. I'm not bothered that I can't pause in a zombies game that's been a staple function. So I can't go for a piss when I'm killing zombies, because if I leave for 2 seconds, my game will disconnect.
Also, you'll get kicked for inactivity too. Don't forget that.
Yeah. Well,
the thing is, the reason why we and so many other people talk about this is it's not necessarily about the function of a pause button. I think the function of a pause button needs to be in every video game, of course. Don't get me wrong, but it's not so much about the function that people are super angry about. Which, I mean, they are angry about that. But anyways, it's the fundamentals of gaming. Like, the game is not complete, and this speaks. This speaks volumes to what the current state of Call of Duty is. It's not that like we're mad because no pause button. We're mad because the entire game isn't finished. You know, I mean, parts of the game feel like I'm still playing the beta. You know, with the constant packet bursts in multiplayer, the connectivity issues, hit detection seems weird half the time in multiplayer, and you know, like trying to climb over stuff is a little glitchy and whatnot. Like, you know. And I think it's also super important to say this. We'll talk about this later on in the podcast, that how we think we can make Vanguard a better game, just in our opinions, right? But I think, the reason why we're so critical and the reason why we're so hard is because we love Call of Duty. We want to see it do good. We're not like we don't want to knock the developers and say, "Hey, developers, you're garbage." We just don't like what's happening in the game right now, and we know you guys can fix it, and we know what you guys are capable of.
And I think it's one of the things as well where if you don't speak out about stuff you don't like,
right,
as a general community, what are they gonna do? They're just going to add it into the next game because they've done it once. They don't hear anything about, oh, well, let's just add it into the next game. It's like, no, we don't want that. Well, it's just because we're not being negative. It's just we're being honest, and sometimes honest hurts. It's
true.
Not what people want to hear. But
the truth hurts, man. And
because here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Is we've been playing zombies for so long now that, I think we'll always be playing zombies. I think in some way, shape, or form, whether we're doing content on it or we're just, wanting to chill out, we'll still play zombies, right? Because it's our favorite game and we want it to do well naturally. But in this sort of time frame, it's just been it's depressing to be, first of all, zombies, player, just playing the game mode first of all, but then also being a content creator because there's you look at other channels as well, and there's like all the bigger ones kind of, I wouldn't say dying off, but they have nothing to make videos on, right?
Because they're not dying off because, you got a lot of people like Lex and Noah who are still, they're doing custom zombies videos and stuff, and that's still popping off fairly decently. I mean,
yeah, which is good. Yeah, absolutely. Their channels are still doing well.
Like I think the main distinction here is zombies content isn't dead, Vanguard is dead for the majority of the community. I know now a game can never be totally dead, because if like two people are playing the game, then people are playing the game, dead. Right?
Yeah.
But when we say dead, it's just not, there's just no hype. There's just no hype generated around the game. The majority of the community do not like the game. And I'm not just talking about the majority of the zombies community. From what I've seen personally, the majority of just the Call of Duty community don't like Vanguard. It's from what I've seen. So I don't know, man.
To show that I'm like I'm like, oh, I hate the game, all of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will stand up for the multiplayer. We get rid of the bugs in that. I think in terms of the actual day one experience or like 2-week experience I had with the game, I thought it was fun. I thought it was quite a good call.
Yeah, I don't mind the maps. I think the maps are pretty good.
I think maps are good. The guns are fun for the most part, and multiplayer is okay. It's not like Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 3, but then it's not like Infinite Warfare. I quite like Infinite Warfare, but it's not like Infinite Warfare or like Ghost to the majority of the community where they really hated them games. Right. I'd give it like a 5 or a 6 out for the multiplayer. A 5 or a 6, maybe a 7 on a good day. I'd give it a 7. And here's the thing about COD, right? At the end of the year, they're always such good products because they've all been fixed and they've had all the content that they should have had pretty much on day one.
Yeah.
Because looking back over the past 5 years, right? From launch to the end product of the game, they're night and day.
For sure.
And I would say technically we haven't had a bad COD since, let's just do the math here. So Cold War, I think, was a success. Modern Warfare, to a wide degree, I think was successful.
Oh, I think Modern Warfare was definitely a huge success. Despite Modern Warfare being a very controversial game, it's one of the most successful video games of all time.
Yeah, it's done really well, and it brought a lot of the community back. And I think that game has really, like, in a lot of ways, for that sort of competitive aspect of COD, it's brought it back. And for Search and Destroy, I know the game is. Search and Destroy, I know the game did really well, and I know people still upload that now. And then videos get hundreds of thousands of views.
Looking at you, crazy. Handler,
exactly.
My God, who's the other guy? There's another guy that I watch. I'm gonna lose it. What's his name? Oh my God.
What's his name? That's his name.
I'm blanking. Wow. I'm blanking on his name. Wow, I'll think of it later. When I think of the name, I'll probably just yell it out in the middle of your sentence.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Do that. completely interrupt me, please.
Yes,
But
I would be very rude to you.
uh, but no, like it shows there's interest in these game modes
Mm,
that for a lot of time for the majority of people haven't even played these game modes because
mhm.
in a while because they're boring or not boring, but there's that lack of drive and intensity that's there for
Yeah.
search and destroy at least. And I think Modern Warfare does a really good job of bringing that back with like ninja diffusing,
Yeah,
trying to take out a whole team, and for multiplayer, it seemed like a good time to be a multiplayer fan, despite the issues the game had.
for sure.
I think it was again a good product. Then going to Black Ops 4, even, and you look at that game, and despite it not having a campaign, the
Mhm.
multiplayer was good for the most part. It was a blend between Black Ops 2 and 3, and I
Yeah.
think despite the issues and despite the lies of oh, this was from the start a tactical shooter, one not like an Overwatch style game, and we
Yeah.
didn't have jetpacks planned, but there actually was because there's certain you can when you look at the maps, you can tell that they had jetpacks planned. You can tell that they
Yeah,
had wall
that's for
running
sure.
planned for a lot of it, and it's even I think some stuff is in the files where when you pick some of your specialists, they would only have access to certain
Well,
guns.
uh, you and I have had experience with that. If you remember our Black Ops 4 stream from a while back, we were playing Search and Destroy, and that guy was using a fucking jetpack. Remember
Yeah,
that?
well, there you go. Yeah, so that shows that
He
it's
fucking
in.
glitched the game or hacked the game or whatever. He was using a fucking jetpack in Search and Destroy. Like,
And it's
yeah.
like shows that these things they had the idea to have them there from the start,
Yep.
and that's fine. But despite the issues, the specialists were fun. The maps were for the most part good. The camos, I think,
Yeah.
nicest camos we've ever had. And as far as actually grinding a COD, I think Black Ops 4 has done it to the best extent because you get
Yeah.
supply drops, which people
I
don't
could see
like,
that.
but you can earn it pretty much everything in the game. You
Yeah.
can earn every weapon in the game pretty much by earning
Yeah.
crates. And you can't do that in other CODs, really. You have to pay for them or do it for the battle
And
pass.
that's what's great. That's what's great about Black Ops 4. Oh, actually, I just thought of the guy's name. Punch. Punch Goes Big.
Oh,
If you guys heard of him.
I've heard of him, yeah.
I like his content too. Anyways, so Black Ops 4,
Yeah.
I really like what they did with the crate system that
After the game was
yeah,
done.
after the game was done, where you could get, and I like that it's mainly I mean, of course it'd be great to have every melee weapon there too, but the fact of the matter is every projectile based weapon or every ballistic weapon is there to buy from a crate, because now you won't
Yeah.
have people go, oh, well, this guy has the VMP, which the VMP is really good in BO4 multiplayer. They'll be like, oh, this guy's the VMP. I don't have the VMP, and oh, it's going to be random for me. Well, no, now it's not anymore.
No,
You
just
can have
save.
the VMP too.
Or
And
you can just buy it if you want to do
I mean,
that. But
there's that
yeah,
too, but
I
who
wouldn't
wants
do
to
that.
do that? Well, who wants to do
No.
that for Black Ops 4? I mean, I don't know. It's like that's how I felt with the Stingray. Like, the S6 Stingray was a gun that I really wanted to have in Black Ops 4 Zombies, and the operator mod for that. Remember operator mods? That was such a cool concept.
That was cool, yeah. Actually giving weapons personality.
Operator mod for that weapon, Impact Blast, so fucking good. Like,
It was good, wasn't it? I remember that as well.
it like 2 shots Blight Fathers. It's ridiculous. Like, you shoot the Blight Father in the back where all those pustules are. It's like a 2-shot. It's amazing. Even unpack punched. So yeah, like getting weapons like that is such a great system. I really would have said, like, if the battle pass and the system of the battle pass and the implementations of Cold War weren't the way they are, I would say put that system in Cold War. But I think Cold War system of weapon challenges is also a really good system. And
Yeah.
I think adding the weapon challenges to Cold War and not locking them behind like a supply crate or a battle pass or whatever, because even after the fact, even if you miss a battle pass in Cold War, you can still do a weapon challenge for them.
Yeah. And
So
that's what's good about it.
that's what's great. And so I think, to me, that shows the maturity of the MTX system, that I think the battle pass system is just a better system, and sprinkling in weapon challenges and things like that.
Yeah.
With that said, though, speaking of the battle pass, Vanguard Season 1 battle pass is so strange that I don't even know where to begin. Like, equipment is in the battle pass, something that should be there for a class. Perks, I believe, are in the battle pass too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, no, yeah, they are. They are in the
Like
battle pass.
that's confusing to me because like do you like,
Were these things not ready for launch? Or
right.
were they ready for launch and you just held them back to put in the battle pass? Because it seems odd to me that you wouldn't have your whole lineup of perks sorted out.
Yeah.
And I can completely understand you adding in new perks, like in
Oh, of course. Yeah,
World War
Cold War they
II.
did that.
Cold War, yeah, World War II. They added in new divisions and all that, and you got your kind
Yeah,
of new
Division Z,
perks
yeah.
now. The Division Z, yeah, exactly, yeah, that's where we
Yeah.
got the name for copyright. But when you look at it, it's been done before, but not like this, not like where you have to earn it, and it just seems so. It really seemed like, okay, we need to fill up these 2 free slots. What do we put in them, guys? Put our heads together.
Like
Ah,
I don't know.
I don't know. Jonathan comes.
Jonathan.
What if? And hear me out here. We put in the perks and some tactical stuff, and make them earn it.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't necessarily mind the concept of earning extra equipment and earning extra perks, but to me in a battle pass, like putting in the battle pass is a weird thing to me. I mean, I don't know if anyone else shares the same sentiment, but I just think that the concept of it in a battle pass is weird because the battle pass should feel like exclusive content, right?
Yeah,
because
you're paying the money for it.
Exactly, right? So it should feel like you're getting your exclusive content because you're paying for it. Like I don't know. To me, when I see that I unlocked a piece of equipment in the battle pass, it's like, okay, like, what? How is this going to be different? And by the way, the new incendiary grenade or whatever it is like super fucking overpowered. It creates like this fire field, and there's smoke everywhere that just
guess what?
covers the map.
Guess what? In about 2 weeks or so, they'll nerf it.
Maybe
because they know exactly what they're doing. No, because they put things like these in the battle pass and weapons, and they make them super overpowered so that people want them and make their videos on them. And then 2 weeks later, it gets nerfed to fuck, and it's just another basic. It's just another basic weapon in the rotation of weapons in the game. I just think it's odd because you look at a game like Black Ops 4 and the system it had with adding in specialists and just adding them straight in. There wasn't like any waiting about. You could just play as them, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. Or it was the first tier of the battle pass. That was how you got your specialists in that game. And then they would just add them after randomly. So you had to play for like 2 minutes, get to tier 1, and then you got your specialist, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's how it worked.
Well, for Cold War, for Black Ops 4,
Black
I'm sorry.
Ops 4.
Black Ops 4. I thought you were talking about Cold War for a second. Yeah, but Black Ops 4. Yeah, I believe Black Ops 4 was tier 1, and then Cold War was just tier 0. Like you bought the battle pass, you got the season operator.
Yeah, you got the season operator in that. But with Vanguard, isn't the perk at like spot 25 or something?
I don't know, to be honest. Like all I know is that there is stuff like that. And here's the thing: I don't play Vanguard enough to actually know what the perk is and what what all the equipment is there. Yeah. I just know that it's there.
Somewhere lurking.
Somewhere in the battle pass. I saw a thing the other day too. There was something that it said unlocked at a random level. Did you see that too? What was that? Am I going crazy? I could have sworn there was something that said like Vanguard Battle Pass or Vanguard Season 1, you unlock this thing at a random level.
To kind of interrupt for a second on that note, did you see the thing Pizza tweeted?
Yes.
Treyarch Zombies has never been deader. And aren't they right? Never been this dead before.
Like I've seen all the comments, man. It's like, are they self-aware? Are they like all the comments are funnier than hell. I mean, it's just the happenstance of that is just like what a choice of words.
Yeah. They're not wrong. They're really not. Man, it's just a shame because the way I'm fucking going back to Vanguard, the way they marketed the game, it looks so promising.
Yeah.
With the direction they were going in with it, and all the cool perk machines and all that, and perk fountains, and now it's It's like, fuck, it's just bad and it's not enjoyable because it's not. For once, it's not down to the gameplay factor of
Right.
the game's been bad.
Well,
It's just the fact that no, because
mm,
I would
well,
say
the majority of it
yeah, majority.
isn't the gameplay, but definitely
Well, pausing and
core
there is
gameplay in Vanguard Zombies is definitely not as good as Cold
as
War or
cool.
Black Ops 3 or
I
anything
will
like
say
that.
I will say that I think the game feels nicer, but that's just the new engine in general. But as
Mm.
far as zombies actually go, I think for the most part it's okay. But when you're trying to train and stuff and you're running through zombies, it reminds me of World at War.
I see that.
And you can do some pretty weird stuff when training and running into hordes in Vanguard because you can just go like and
I
get
still
through a whole
hate
horde.
I still hate the thing where you walk past an enemy and you lock onto that enemy. Like
Just
it's almost
naturally.
like too much aim assist, right?
Yeah.
Where you're just trying to walk a certain direction. I can't count how many times it's happened. I'm trying to walk a certain direction and then my guy just goes, like, "What are you doing? I don't want to lock onto
Get
that
back over
guy.
here.
Like, what am I doing here?" Like
And
even with a knife. Even with a knife or a melee weapon, it's like, oh, you want to lock onto this guy? He's like, no, I don't want. I want to walk over here.
and it's just dumb. It's very
uh,
very very weird and very strange.
I mean, the bottom line is, Vanguard Zombies is it's just not complete. And
No.
I think part of the reason why it's not complete we know is because of the development time and yada yada yada. We've heard it
All this
so
stuff.
many times before.
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely more ways to fix the game than there are to ruin the game, which you could say gives us some upside and you could say gives us some optimism and whatever, but you know, I just don't know right now in the state of how zombies is and what Activision is doing with what's happening in the Call of Duty sphere that anything's gonna get done. But, for the sake of being hypothetical, you know, I guess fixing Vanguard Zombies would be, kind of going back to the basics of zombies in a way, where like I don't mind a game mode like Duran Fong, but what about all the other maps that are in Duran Fong as like a survival map, or
I think
open up
I
the
think
whole fucking map when you're doing an objective in Duran Fong. Like I don't understand that one.
I think when it comes down to it, the more kind of as the game goes on, I think honestly it might just be it for Vanguard Zombies. I think we'll
That's
get
it.
slight updates. We'll get slight updates to Duran Fong, and maybe we'll get another like 2 maps or maybe one other game mode for it, like Duran Fong.
Okay, so you're saying like if anything, new updates will be maps added to Duran Fong and not like actual
Oh
maps
no,
to play
I think
separately.
we maybe we'll get like 2 normal round based maps. I couldn't say any more than that at this point. I really couldn't. Like I think when a game does so shit, especially like with Vanguard, first of all, it's not the community's fault for shitting on the game because if people don't like the game, then we're not going to be like, oh, this game is fun. It's like Cyberpunk.
Right.
If anyone was like, oh, this game's actually really good, we just need to wait for it to get fixed. It's like, no, you don't do that. I think
Yeah.
Activision sees backlash as like, no, we won't update it, we won't fix it, we won't make these changes. Hence why, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, this pausing function, it might just be the new factions. I think this whole I think this whole game will genuinely be for the most part like new factions.
Oh
Where
no.
where they'll say it's been delayed, it's coming, it will be coming, and then when the game's almost over, they completely drop it and don't talk about it.
Dude,
And
I would
obviously
fucking cry.
a developer can't come out and be like, oh well, we're not adding it. It's just, like, oh, they didn't give us the money or whatever. They couldn't do that because they get fired on the spot because you get so many people that get fired instantly for
Yeah.
like random talk like that. And I know how Activision are with keeping the profits up and firing people that aren't necessary.
Mhm.
So people are wanting to keep their jobs. But the state the game's in and just kind of looking at it from, I think past experiences with issues like this. Like look at Black Ops 4. That game could have potentially been one of the best zombie games. I know a lot of people didn't like the core gameplay of it, but
Mm-hmm.
even if they fix little things like, if they fix the HUD like in a month,
Mm.
or not fix the HUD because there's nothing technically wrong with it, but if
Yeah.
they made it look a little bit more pleasant, that'd be a good sign to the zombie community. And they'd be like, okay, they're listening. Let's update this game. And what really kind of breaks my heart as well is, it's something I know COD are going to do it forever now because they make so much money, is the yearly cycle. I
Right.
think in the long run, it's going to completely kill the franchise, not in terms of sales and that, but
Right.
look in 10 years time
Well,
when
actually, it could end up killing. It could end up killing the just the franchise as a whole, because if the yearly cycle keeps going and more people stop buying the game because the people are going to expect a broken, unfinished product, no one's going to
yeah,
buy the game, and I mean, it's amongst the myriad of other things that's happening at Activision right now. Like the future of the company, the future of Call of Duty doesn't look the greatest right now.
no.
I mean, Call of Duty has to be taken into someone else's hands probably at this point. I mean, I hate to say that, but I mean, if Activision needs to turn it around. It's just how it is. Uh,
Here,
I don't know.
here,
It's a very
here,
confusing time.
here's the thing with it as well is I th- I think even though we're getting really good games the past 5 years or so, and I mean for COD products they're pretty good, and we're getting a lot of stuff with them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to end up in the long run completely killing it because you're going to already tell with a lot of these newer games that even though they're quite good, that passion and spark that was there maybe during like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2 just isn't there anymore. It's not
I
it's
can
not there.
understand that.
And again, it's not coming down to like the game's not being as good, but I think it's like, okay, we have this game for a year. We're going to push out content for that game and try to make as much money as possible. And as soon as that game's done, we'll completely drop it.
Right.
And it's one of them things where it's, going for dark matter. That's cool. That's fun and all, right? And it's like, oh yeah, I got dark matter. Yay, I'm a pro now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then a year later, it doesn't matter because it's gone. And I know with Warzone, it makes it a little bit more, oh, well, you can use it in Warzone. You can
Yeah.
use it like, there's a bit more of a purpose of having it now because
Right.
Warzone's like the central hub for COD games and the content you get
Yeah.
in them.
Yeah.
But when you look at it from like, compared to like something like CS:GO, that game, well, when did CS:GO come? When did that come out? That came out
No
like,
idea, to be honest.
I think it came out in like 2011, 2010, maybe. I know it's been a franchise for a little bit longer than that, but the most recent one, that game has been updated, and it's not even really updated too much. It's just that game's been out for however long, and they've not felt the need to make a new one
Mm-hmm.
because they don't need to. It's like with Minecraft, add to it, fix the issues, listen to the community, add new exciting things.
I would agree.
If you with a game like COD, then absolutely, if you need to update it, if you need to release a new game to, make it vastly better because the engine or whatever isn't as good as the old one, you can't do as many exciting things, then absolutely do that. But don't just keep milking it. And it's what, again, I know they're a business and it comes down to money and that, right? But it really kind of makes you think, wow, it's just all down to the profit, and the consumer isn't what's important. Because the aftermath, Activision don't care about the consumer. They care about their money, and when they get their money, that's it. And yeah, it's sad. It sucks, and I want the franchise to, as well as anyone who would actually care about the game.
Yep.
But it's just, I don't know. My predictions are kind of getting rid of this Vanguard hate. Is I think this game will be the next Factions. I
I
genuinely
can see
believe
that.
that because it's a lot worse off than Black Ops 4.
100%.
A lot worse
This
off
is
because
honestly, if I'm being honest, this is like the worst launch ever. This is the worst launch for zombies ever.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with you. You go back to World at War. It's a better launch. It was. In that time period,
World at War worked.
Yeah, it worked. You know, it wasn't this hyped up game mode. They didn't market it because they knew. I think they kind of knew as well. Like, oh, if we release a trailer for the zombies mode, this new thing, and it's just one map. You know, I know it was a completely different time. I know they wanted to release it as like a surprise for people that are playing it, but
Right.
I think even they knew one little map like that. It
Well,
wasn't worth
originally zombies wasn't even supposed to be in the game. I mean,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
because a few developers were making it, and then
yeah, it
the
was only
idea
like
was almost rejected.
exactly. So it just kind of zombies kind of barely squeaked in there, and then look where we are now, which I think is honestly wild. That I think that speaks volumes to what just a couple of people can do, and a couple people can change what's going on.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
imagine for a second, if you will, if a couple of people can change the course of gaming history by introducing zombies all those years ago. Imagine what millions of people can do, like us, the fans, can do by trying to get these changes implemented, trying to get these trying to get Call of Duty back to what it was before. And, eventually, maybe a developer will be able to take action into their own hands, and then we'll be in a situation where instead of the 2 or 3 developers that are working on it, 2 or 3 developers are working on World at War, I should say. Now we can get to a position where, because Vanguard is so buggy, glitchy, broken right now, people kind of not force the hand, but kind of push them a little bit to say, hey,
yeah.
this isn't good. This isn't good.
Mm.
And it'll take the developers to do something. Like I genuinely think that these developers do want to fix their games. I genuinely think the developers want to make the best product possible.
Yeah,
But we know there's a
they
lot
kinda
of
do what they're
factors
good.
involved, and we talked about that. But, there's only so much they can do with some time and budgeting that they get. And my sympathy does really go out to developers in this situation, because it's tough. It's really, really tough to create a product with little to no time and little to no funding. I mean, it's the same thing on set. It's the same thing filming a
Mm.
movie, right? I mean, there have been times where, yeah, you'll go on set and it's like, all right, guys, we have this place for like 5 hours, and you got to like film 10 scenes or whatever. Well, some of it might feel a little rushed.
Yeah,
So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. So, long story short, if those 2 people are enough to make a difference in the community, imagine what millions of people making a difference can do in the community. And imagine what we can do as a community to get Activision to say, "Hey, wow, we need to fix this." I mean,
yeah.
I genuinely believe that we can all come together, and we can try to help push the future of Call of Duty for the better. And then we don't have to be negative, and then we don't have to talk about why Vanguard is bad for the 10th week in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it's just whatever. But I
yeah.
mean, that's all I'm gonna
Coming
say about that.
yeah. Coming off that, what changes would you add into the game to make it that experience that you'd want when buying a zombies game? What would you add to it to make it a good zombies experience?
Well, first things first, separate round-based and objective-based, because
Yeah.
we see that Duran Fong is the experiment of combining round-based and objective-based, and I was excited for it at first. I thought it could be a really cool concept.
Like
In practice, not really great. So I think at this point it's good to separate them and keep round-based and outbreak. Yeah, round-based, outbreak, like they're separate thing. Round-based, objective-based, keep it their own separate thing. I think that's a good idea. What else? An Easter egg, literally an Easter egg. To kind of really explain the story. And I feel like if there was an Easter egg at launch with their on falling, it wouldn't receive as much hate, but I still think it wouldn't be received super well. But like the Easter egg, right? They hyped up the trailers, and they're gonna, they're talking to everybody about, well, this is the beginning of the Dark Ether storyline. That's why Duran Fong means the beginning in German. So they're hyping up the story. They're hyping up, oh, the demons and Von List and whatever. So add the story. Like we got a map with no story.
Yeah,
Like
because
there's radios, right? Like I understand there's radios, and the radios are kind of interesting.
they're
But
cool.
what can we do to progress the story forward? an Easter egg. So literally add an Easter egg. That would be huge. The wonder weapon would be great as well to make the map have some character and not like, some weird bland ripoff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What else?
'Cause
I think taking the I think I said this earlier, taking the locations of Duran Fong and making them their own standalone round-based map. Because then you'd have Shinonuma in Vanguard, and people would like Shinonuma, and it's nostalgia and things like that, and people can play survival Shinonuma, round-based Shinonuma. Hotel Royale, I don't know how well that would play as a zombies map. Maybe add that as the Onslaught. I think Onslaught could have really, really, really benefited from the way Vanguard is, because Vanguard has 20 fucking maps in it for multiplayer. So could you imagine if Zombies Onslaught were to be a thing in this game? That's 20 maps of Zombies Onslaught on launch. And that would have been so huge for the community. So I think Zombies Onslaught would have been a great addition to have come back. Let's see. Better perks. I think the perks are very stripped down and bare bones, and they need an update. Like, I get it. Frenzy Fortitude, I think that's what it's called, is, that's supposed to be the jug substitute, where it's like, oh, you get, a little more health with every buy. Like, I get that. Like that, if anything, that's the one I don't mind kind of leaving alone. But the other ones are just so bare bones. And like Speed Cola, right? The Speed Cola equivalent in this game is barely fast. It's like it doesn't feel fast at all. So turn up the reload speed on that. And like all the other abilities that make the Cold War perks so unique and so different, add some of those abilities into the tiers. Not just like, like I can understand tier 1, you get a little bit of health for the Juggernaut equivalent in Vanguard. But how about tier 2? In addition to getting more health, you get like some other kind of effect, right? So that it makes the perks viable, and it makes the perks you want to vie to get the perks, and you want to enhance your gameplay, and you want to enhance the game with doing that. So the perks need to be reworked. I really loved the perk system from Cold War. What else? I mean,
I think you pretty much nailed. Yeah. I think you pretty much nailed it on the head. What the game like kind of needs. I think kind of going forward with it is, because I want new game modes, right?
Yeah.
But I want the game modes that come out to be finished. I don't want it to be, oh, this is our kind of take on it, or kind of like Extinction in a way, where Extinction as a game mode, when it came out on launch, it was pretty much complete, and they added things that kind of built on top of it later on, right? But I think they just need to start releasing products that are finished. I think that kind of comes down to like one of the main things I would pick first of all. So if Duran Fong was the full experience on launch, I still think it'd be quite bad, but it wouldn't be as bad because it's a complete product, and that is all that's happening with the map. I think that is something where if they did that, it'd be okay. I think it feels like everything in Vanguard Zombies is 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And what I mean by that is the perk system is one of them where I'm a bit confused. I would bring back the old Cold War perk system. I think that did it quite well. Sure, it might have killed progression somewhat in a way, just because you buy Jug, you have so much health. But I feel like in a strange way, the new perk system kills progression, because
it does 100%.
No one wants to buy it because it costs so much, and then you go down and you lose that one tier of it.
Exactly.
And even with Pack-a-Punch in that, it feels like everything in this game is Black Ops 4's Pack-a-Punch system, where it has to be long and tedious, and you have to fucking you'll make no points as well, which again, I don't know why they're going down this route of making it so points are such a odd factor, because no one's ever complained about it.
Because they try to combine Outbreak and Round Base, where Outbreak you earn 25 and then 35 for a headshot, but Duran Fong is less than that.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is too, yeah, I agree. No one wants to spend a shitload of money for one perk. I think Cold War had it right. Again, where the perks scaled the more perks you bought. And that kind of gives you, that kind of makes the perks more valuable, because now it's, which perk do I want to buy first? So I know I have that perk right away. And I know that's going to be my most valuable targeted perk. And then you kind of strategize like, well, I can buy Juggernog at 3,000 and I can buy Speed Cola at 35. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really gets you to value the perks and value the points you earn. This game, like, you're going, what's the tier? So it's free for the first one. What is it? Like, it's 25, then like 3,000 or something, then 5,000, then 75. And that's for every single perk.
Yeah.
While you're trying to while you're trying to save up money for Pack-a-Punch, because the weapons don't feel super powerful in the game either. That's another thing I would change. Up the weapon damage a little bit. The weapons don't feel very powerful to me.
No, the weapons are very, very underwhelming. I think the main thing,
except for the shotguns, the shotguns are OP again.
Yeah, the shotguns are great, which is good, but I'd also like an SMG to be okay.
Right.
I think on the launch of Cold War Zombies, they really hyped down on, they're focusing on what makes zombies fun, and that's killing zombies. I think that should be the focus of this game mode. We shouldn't be stripped back to having like no points, weapons being really weak. It should be a game where you can go around just killing stuff immensely. You should when you're fully set up, you should be an overpowered, killing machine. Maybe not to the extent where, you have a black hole gun, but maybe to the extent of, I would say Cold War did it just about right.
Yeah.
I say Cold War. I think some cases, it's quite broken with the high round strats. But
sure.
I think wonder weapons were powerful. And that's what wonder weapons should be. They should be overpowered because, they're the main focus of that like weaponry on the map. Because in no case should you be looking at an RPG over a wonder weapon thinking, right, I want that RPG. That's what I want.
Salvo.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's not how it should be, obviously. And I think with like all the other stuff in general as well, it's with that game, it's field upgrade. That's a happy middle between that and specialists, because for a lot of them, they don't really are that efficient at killing, but it can get you out of a sticky situation. It somewhat changes up the gameplay as well, where you're not just sitting in a corner constantly. And I know Ring of Fire is the most popular one because it makes anything into an absolute killing machine, but it was fun and people didn't complain about it. Maybe it was too easy. Maybe it was.
Yeah, maybe that was like the only complaint with Ring of Fire, right? This is broken and too easy. Like, holy shit, right? But then you get back to the argument of, why do you need to nerf things in a PvE mode? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I've always believed that no matter what, the skilled zombies players will always get to a higher round than an average zombie player. So let's say the average round was 25 that the average zombie player would get to, and then a pro player would get to 100. Let's say on a game like Black Ops 2, right? If automatically a average player can get to like round like 50, right, on something like Cold War, then that pro player should be able to get to like round 150. Yeah. It should scale somewhat, because if you're a pro at the game and you know what you're doing.
I mean, big example here, I think, for what you're talking about. Shout out to fellow Obey Undead member Pikachu. The dude, he stayed in the starting room of D Machina and got to round 935.
Really,
he got to round 935. He's using support weapons, and he basically almost swept the leaderboards for D Machina. Like, no perks, first room only, no power. Like, he swept these leaderboards basically, and that's just the sign of a fucking ridiculously pro zombies player. And when you said that, that's what it kind of reminded me of the scaling and things like that.
Look at it that way. So an average zombie player, if they're in a starting room, maybe they'd only get to like round like 20, 25, then Pikachu over here is getting to 935.
Yeah.
So it does scale. Player skill isn't something that is not going to not scale, because games are going to be harder than others and easier than others.
Oh yeah.
But for the most part, if you're really good at zombies, you'll get to a high round. If you're if you're average, you'll get to that average round. It may vary on each game because of obviously Cold War. You have a certain amount of zombies that spawn in,
For sure.
and you have health stops going up after a certain point. But there'll always be them players that can get to the highest, and then players that can get to just an okay round. And I think I don't know why they're trying to make it so difficult to go for high rounds, because that's the fundamental design of the game. And I know Dirt on Fong technically isn't round based. It kind of is in a weird way, but it's not really at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're stripping away what makes zombies fun, and it's sad because they're trying to go this completely different direction, and it's fine to go a different direction, but changes that are just so odd once again. And I think when it comes down to it, I think what they could do to make Vanguard better is don't scrap it and just leave it. I think you can still make the game good.
For sure.
It has potential to be good. So don't just do a Black Ops 4 and
don't make this game the living embodiment of factions like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, exactly, right? So first of all, try and get the shit sorted out with Durham and try and get some elements of survival in there as well, where you could take some of the even multiplayer maps and just make them survival maps. And they might be pretty basic and
literally Onslaught basically. For the most part.
Yeah, exactly, right? Just try and make something where it's a little bit more round based. Fix the weapons so they're a little bit more powerful. So kind of like Cold War, where I think Cold War did weapons perfectly, where not one of them felt absolutely useless, but an SMG on round 50 still isn't going to be the best gun in the world. Like, it's not going to be like, oh my god, this is crazy.
Yeah,
I think that's something they definitely need to fix. The perks, I don't, to be honest, I don't even know what you do with that system. Do you make them cheaper? Do you? I don't know.
You either make them cheaper or you give them actual value. Instead of just like, plus this, plus this, plus this. And it's like the same thing and it doesn't really feel super powerful. Like even diabolical damage, which is supposed to be the dead shot equivalent in this game. I don't feel like I'm doing a lot of damage when I have tier 4 diabolical damage. I just don't. I mean, now the one perk that I will say, actually the two perks. The two perks that I will say I do feel a difference is Venomous Vigor and Ethereal Haste, which are Quick Revive and Stamina respectively. I do feel a difference with those, where Ethereal Haste is very fast in Vanguard standards. And then Venomous Vigor, I definitely noticed a little bit of health regeneration being a little quicker. So, that's really the only thing. But if only 2 out of your 5 perks feel like they make a difference, like, what's the what are we doing
wrong?
here?
Something's wrong here. Yeah, exactly. So, I think with it.
Oh, also another thing that I mentioned. Sorry, to make the game better. Actual support streaks in the crafting table. Right now it's only the self revive. Now I know the War Machine and Death Machine are supposed to be coming in season 1 sometime. Who knows? Maybe. But
maybe.
Where are the other score streaks? Like, I know the Cold War had like the cruise missile and whatever. Okay, so what about a glide bomb in this game? Or like, what's another thing? Like the combat bow. Where'd the combat bow go? Exactly. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just random. Like, why is that not there? Also, armor is too expensive at the table for salvage because you don't earn you earn barely any salvage. And I know they added that Covenant Scrapper, which is basically Death Perception's ability from Cold War, but it still doesn't feel like you earn enough. That is one thing that I will say that actually is not a bad addition to zombies is the Covenants. I don't mind the Covenants too much because then it essentially makes it so that you have 3 alternate ammo types, and that can be, I mean, and that makes for interesting gameplay combinations, and I like that. That's kind of cool. Yeah. I don't like how random it is. I don't like that. Sometimes
I think
you have
it should
to
be
wait.
Like a skill tree.
Yeah.
I think you should start. You know how you get the lower tier stuff first, and then you make your way up.
I could see that.
I think you should be able to level up the stuff as you want with all the options kind of there. I think. Just all choices.
If you want to level up the Covenants, you have to wait till it randomly gives it to you, right? So it's like oh, I want, I'm stuck at purple cryo freeze. I'm stuck at epic rarity cryo freeze, and then I have to wait till like round 100 to get my legendary rarity cryo freeze, and like it's just why?
Why? Exactly. It makes no sense. It very, very, very
But
odd.
the whole concept and the concept and the implementation of covenants isn't necessarily a bad idea. It's just the little thing about it there with it's random when some of them show up is not really favorable, because in Cold War you could just go to the package machine and choose your fucking ammo mod. You want Shatter Blast, there you go. You want Brain Rot, there you go. It's like
Yeah, you can just have it. It's not this big, confusing mess. You can just anything you want, you can have it. I think the only thing that needs to be randomized is a wonder weapon, and that's because it gives you a little bit more
oh
incentive to
yeah,
actually hit. So
yeah, it gives the
I
box more value
yeah,
too.
yeah. Even just talking about Vanguard zombies, it, I don't know. It's just
Hey,
I
look, even though Vanguard Zombies might not be in a great spot, at least the new Warzone map isn't too bad. Caldera is actually fun. I've been
yeah.
having a lot of fun with that map. Playing it actually off stream, just casually too. I'm having a good time. Although, of course, you gotta call it out when you see it with these glitches, because that's just how Call of Duty is nowadays.
Mm.
Um, there are those funky ass bugs with the guns. I don't know if you've seen any of them, where like the gun
They
looks
all get.
like
I
a
think I've
bunch
seen
of
it.
polygons, and
Yeah,
it's
I've seen
just
it. Yeah,
like it just
yeah.
obstructs your whole screen, and you're just like, what am I looking at, right? Some of the trees are floating, and they look like they're from Minecraft. Like, I don't know. Like, I haven't. The only one that I experienced the gun glitch. That's the only one that I experienced. I didn't see the trees or anything like that. I saw other people's screenshots, but uh, I think the layout is pretty fun. Nice, beautiful areas. I like the nature in that map. It's pretty fun. Um, the Vanguard weapons actually play a lot better than I thought they were going to in Caldera. Right now, kind of my go-to weapon in Caldera is the MP40. I think the MP40 is really good on in
Mm.
Warzone. And then actually I tried out the Owen gun the other day too. That wasn't too bad. Uh, but of course, eventually people are gonna settle into a meta, and people are gonna settle into what they want to use. Like I've been
Yeah.
hearing people are saying, "Oh, the NZ41 and the PPSH, like that's meta, right?" But I don't know. To me, I'm seeing a lot of these other guns, like the STG is not bad either. The Automaton isn't terrible. Like, so I don't know. We'll have to see about which guns actually become meta for Warzone, and I don't know. I really hope that we get to a point with Caldera and Warzone Pacific that there is no one set meta and people can kind of use whatever they want. There was a point actually in Black Ops Cold War's life cycle, I think it was around season 3, where it did not matter what you used because all the weapons felt really balanced. So
Yeah.
I really want to get back to that point for Warzone, because the thing that's I think Warzone has is in terms of charm. One of the charming things about Warzone is that you can really customize your game style, like your gameplay style with your loadout. Like
Mm.
it's such a interesting concept that in a Call of Duty game, that in one game you can use weapons from Modern Warfare, Cold War, and Vanguard. Like that's cool.
It's a cool
Like that's a
concept because
really
it's
cool
constantly getting
concept.
updated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, oh, I want to use the M4 from Modern Warfare, but I also want to use the PPSH from Vanguard. Like, I don't know. To me, it might sound a little geeky, might sound a little nerdy, right? It's like little things like that make me go, ooh, that's kind of cool. Like
No,
different
yeah, absolutely.
gameplay variety, like different combinations, and ooh, this guy over here is using the Kilo, but he's also using the LC. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No,
It's kind of
I
fun
completely understand it. Completely understand it. It adds in that little bit of gameplay variety that you wouldn't normally get. It's kind of closer thing we have to like a COD mobile or a COD online.
for sure. Yeah.
For console players, PC players, and all that good stuff. And I hope
Hmm.
eventually what ends up happening is they move to perhaps a free to play model, and they just have one game and they just update it constantly instead
I
of
mean, you basically just
because
described Warzone.
yeah, I mean in the extent where you have your multiplayer there as well, your standard
Right, yeah.
multiplayer.
I get
So you're
that.
kind of because really what you're paying for is the multiplayer and campaign and well, I guess Vanguard zombies, but
And I guess zombies
it,
to a certain degree, but I mean this year maybe not.
maybe no because Vanguard zombies is probably worth the value of like 2 Cokes, or something. I don't
Wow.
know. Not a lot of value in the game mode as of right now. If I were to make a review in Vanguard and I got to the zombies portion, I would just say no, it's not worth it. Even if
Not
you
worth
enjoy
it.
zombies, even
Yeah.
if you enjoy something like Black Ops 4 like a lot, it's
In
just
its current state, it is not worth it at all, I would say.
it's not worth the price tag of like $60 for what.
Yeah,
Even if
it's
you can
just for
find
zombies alone.
Yeah. If you can find it for $20 for just zombies, no. No. $10,
Mm.
no. $5 you're getting on the maybe, but it's still not worth it because you're gonna play it once and then you're not gonna
Yeah.
touch it again. Like us, and we play the game because we do. Well, I mean, we play it because we enjoy it, but we're content creators as well, and for it
Yeah.
not to drive us in, it's just sad. And if I'm not wanting to play it, I'm not gonna recommend someone else to play it. So
Right. And that's the other thing about content creation, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys have noticed on my channel recently, I'm barely playing Vanguard on my YouTube channel. Because I don't like, if I'm not having fun with it, I'm not going to make a video about it. That's why a
no.
lot of my videos recently have been Warzone related. I've been having a lot of fun covering the new Warzone updates. And, I posted my first ever game on Caldera. And I thought that was a really fun video to record and edit. But I will be having some more zombies related videos later in the week. Actually, one of them's a Vanguard video later in the week. So, I'm not going to be playing Vanguard as often. To be totally honest, like
No.
I'll do a camo grind once in a while, like here and there. Like I'll do a tutorial like I did a couple days ago for the katana. I like making weapon tutorials and all that. But like when it comes down to just like sitting down, like doing challenges and whatever kind of videos, I'm just not going to be super interested in doing that.
Yeah. And I
Um,
mean, for me personally, with zombie stuff at the moment, it's gonna be the case where I'm gonna try and upload one zombies video a week. But when I'm not doing that, I'm focusing on my other channel and stuff. It's
Fair
just
enough.
because I enjoy it more at the moment. Zombies, I want to enjoy. It's just the moment I can't really. It's one of them things where I've said it before, but I don't think it's silly. When people say they're leaving the zombie community, because it's one of the things where I'll know I always come back to the game. If I say I'm leaving the zombies community, I'm not playing the game again. I know I'll end up playing it, and it kind of locks you into like this agreement of sorts where you're like, okay, if I start playing the game again, I've said to them I'm not playing it again, and opinions that could change.
I mean, my whole take on that is like even if you've left the community, I still don't think you're gone. Like I still think
No,
you have contributed to the community. You were a part of the community. You made videos. You did stuff with other people. Like you're part of the community. So even if you went and you played other games and for whatever reason one day you decided I don't want to play zombies anymore, you're still part of the community because you've
yeah,
invested your time into it.
it's
Like
not just about the game itself. It's about
right,
the friends and that you make on the way. Because
right,
I know if if one of us fell out of doing zombies and that, we wouldn't just quit the podcast. We
right,
wouldn't do that or
right.
something. Anything something like that at all that would happen. It'd be the case where we'd just change up the style of the podcast and we covered zombies still, but
Of
not
course.
to such a great extent, perhaps. But
Yeah. I mean, you guys at home know the podcast. I mean, we've talked about other gaming topics before. We're not
yeah,
afraid to talk about other things, But if there is majority zombies content to talk about, then we'll talk about majority zombies content.
yeah,
But we don't care. We'll talk about Halo Infinite. We'll talk about Minecraft. We'll talk about Pokemon and the movies and whatever. Like like
mm,
whatever, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's yeah, that's just the world. Things are
Mhm.
different and things
That is
happen
the
and
world.
for people who quote unquote leave the community, I don't think they really do because they've left an impact and they've, contributed to it. They just won't be contributing in the future. And that's just
Yeah,
how it is.
exactly.
Because people's lives are different and things happen. It's like I
Mhm.
know me personally, it's like because of some of the Vanguard stuff isn't super favorable to me. I've been trying to do a lot of voiceover stuff for myself recently and trying to try to push that along a little bit more. And I'm still making content, of course, but I still want to
Mm.
do more voiceover stuff. So yeah, long story short, I guess everybody is that Vanguard is in a really weird spot. We can only hope it gets better. I
Mhm.
feel like we said it every week, but we can only hope it gets
Every week.
better. Caldera is a fun Warzone map. Season 1 is a weird season, and we'll see.
We'll see. We
To
have
sum
to
it
wait
all
and
up,
see.
we'll see.
We'll
But
see.
I think that's about it for this episode of the podcast, man. This was a good episode. I think we talked about a lot of things that could really help change the game for the better. Hopefully, we presented some ideas that could potentially be, someone at Treyarch or Activision could watch. Who knows, and maybe take the criticism and see what happens. Even if they just listen to it, listening to it is better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, you got any other closing thoughts?
Just I hope hope Vanguard does good. I know it can be a good zombies game. They just need to update it and actually put content into it. And I'm just hoping that it's not the case where it's like factions. I really hope not. But it wouldn't surprise me either.
I would agree, man. I would agree. Well, thank you all so much for watching episode 71 of the Division Z podcast. What was your favorite part? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you stay up to date with everything that we do down below in the description. Checking out all those links, the Division Z Hub, the Division Z Twitter account. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And for other content creators out there who are interested in the Division Z Minecraft server, feel free to let us know. It's filling up fast, though, so...
get in here, get your spot.
It's filling up fast. So if you want to make content, that's the thing. You got to make content. If you want to make content, we'll be happy to give you a creative platform in the Minecraft server. So check that out as well. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, depending on where you are in this crazy world. We will see you all next time. Peace out.
Bye, everyone.